not good.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, nerds. Hello, nerds.
You have to put up with me today. Because Jordan's gone.
Freaking Schlebby. Freaking Schlebby.
You can't do anything about it. How is everybody today? It feels like a Thursday. Somehow.
It feels like a Thursday?
Yeah,
Really?
it should feel like a Tuesday, but it feels like a Thursday.
All right.
But it's a Wednesday.
All right.
But welcome everyone. Paint Liquor, The Ranger, OSB Paints, T-Cat, Ryan Wallace, Ghost Hunter, T. Schmidt. Hello.
Hello. Hello. It's me and Schleb,
Yeah.
the wonderful dynamic duo. I think Jen's still here, but she's leaving soon.
Yeah.
And then she's leaving me.
She gets to go on a fun little retreat. It feels like a Monday stacked on a Monday. Yeah.
It feels like a Monday?
Paint Liquor said it feels like a Monday stacked
On a Monday.
Mhm.
Even worse than just Monday.
I agree with that, though.
Like, what the heck?
It makes sense in my brain.
What the heck? Monday stacked on Monday? It's Wednesday. So, is it Monday stacked on 2 Mondays? Or just one? I have questions.
Maybe that's the point of the statement.
I'm preparing my palette.
Oh, I haven't seen...
It looks like we never left. Looks like who never left? Me? How
Probably.
dare you, sir? I went home and changed my clothes. I slept. Played with a dog.
Oh, since Monday? I see. That's why...
I haven't done a whole lot else, though. So that's true.
I feel like this is the time of year where I kind of start getting a little... I lose motivation to do some of the things that I normally love doing because it's so hot out.
It is hot. And it's not a good kind of hot.
No, it's not.
It's not exactly the best kind of hot.
Yeah, so
there it
this is like it's the hard hill to get over until it's like acceptance that it's gonna be over 100 degrees. So.
You never realized there was a green tint in gold? After watching me paint yesterday, did you go look? I like green tinted gold. Not all gold is, but I like it. Right? I like green. You can do purple base for gold, looks really cool. Obviously, a lot of times you'll see us use oranges and browns and yellows. Those keep it on hue, yellow ochres, things like that. Those are also very good. But, you know, I like the green. It gives it a neat flavor. Wait, wrong word.
I'll say that here.
We do, though. All right, so here's what I've done. Here's today's palette. We're trying some other colors.
Ooh.
A little bit broad. Well, I say a little bit broader range. I've taken away one color. I took away phthalo green. I'm using Hooker's green, burnt umber. I've added in Payne's gray, right? Then we got black, white. So Hooker's green, Payne's gray, and yellow ochre are what I'm adding in. And then, of course, cyan, yellow, and cad red. I should probably put some magenta on here, too, huh? I should probably have some processed magenta. Or some primary magenta, huh?
Xenophonetic, my name is Shelby, or Schlebby.
Hi, Schlebby.
Whichever one you prefer. It's really up to you. It's a choose your own adventure.
Let's choose your own adventure.
Ryan Wallace said, is that just parchment paper?
No, it's palette paper. I mean, it looks like baking paper or whatever, but it's gray palette paper. Yeah, that's what we're using today.
You could probably use parchment paper, though. Probably work.
Huh?
Or wax paper.
Wax paper.
Yeah.
Wax paper will work. Sometimes wax paper is too waxy, though, and the water will beat up when using water-based acrylic, so I try to stay away from that. This is also quite waxy.
Yeah.
But actual wax paper is more so.
Mm-hmm.
So, gotta be a little careful. in your choices.
Oh, she looks so good.
There you go. This is what we're working on.
Nick Garcia asked, would Rogue's set be mostly single pigment?
2 of them are ultramarine and bismuth yellow. The rest are mixes. But with our paints, you don't have to worry about mixes because I formulate our paints so that you can get exactly what you want out of them no matter what. We make art paint, not house coatings. That's my favorite phrase, turn of phrase there.
You mean
Other
I
paint
can't
companies
paint
get mad
my
at
house
me.
with Pro-Acryl?
But it's kind of how it goes. What?
I can't paint my house with Pro-Acryl?
I mean, you can. That's going to be very expensive. Just not going to lie.
I get 50% off.
Not going to try to sugarcoat that. You better have a sugar daddy. Or sugar mama. You do you.
No.
But, all right, let's think. I got some hand to do down here, some hand to do over here, but I didn't do those because I got to paint the skull stuff. So maybe we start with like some brain matter. Maybe paint some brain matter today. So that's going to need some magenta for sure.
Yum.
A little magenta. A little bit of blue, I think.
Monument house coatings when?
We're not doing that. That's not what we do.
No.
That's not how we do. A little bit of yellow ochre in that brain matter color. A little bit of cad red, maybe.
Division Ring asked, are you guys doing cobalt turquoise too?
No. Well, cobalt turquoise. Like a normal turquoise, maybe. I'd have to look at the color that you're talking about.
Xenophonetic, I don't have enough money for that. I don't have enough money for that name. Game Delay said, no Jordan, no Cora. Puppy quotient of 0% today. It's true.
You people.
I can't bring that same energy.
You people. Game Delay, acting like he doesn't love us, Schleb.
I know.
We know the truth, though.
We do.
We know the truth.
Yeah. Deep down.
Schlebby was bouncing up and down in her chair before the stream started, so I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be able to keep up with her energy level today. How many energy drinks have you had?
This is my first one.
Okay, first one.
I only have one drink a day if I have. I don't drink an energy drink every day, but if I do, it's only one.
I don't have an energy drink every day, but when I do, I'm serious about it.
I don't mess around. Game Delay said, oh, I love you both. I just don't think of you as puppy-like. Yeah.
Oh.
That's fair.
Well, I'm going to tell Baby J that.
I think
Baby J, they
Baby
look
J
at you
would,
like a puppy.
I think Baby J would feel the same way. I think he would say that he has puppy energy.
He does.
Yeah.
He does have that, hey, what are we doing? What are we
Right.
doing, Sam?
Yeah.
Sam, what are we doing? Sam, talk to me, Sam. What
And
are
I
we
think
doing,
Game Delay also just plays to the cuddly, like, he sees Jordan as a very cuddly
I'm not
person.
cuddly? Say what? Say excuse me? Have you
Hi,
met me,
Jade.
sir? I am very huggable, very cuddleable. I don't advise that you just come up and cuddle me unannounced, because I'm also kind of violent.
For the record, I've never seen him get physically violent. So I don't know how real that statement is. Xenophonex said, went and saw Mad Max today, Jason. It's good, you'd hate it.
Yep, probably.
Are you talking about the, like, Mad Max or Furiosa?
The Furiosa one.
Okay. I watched Mad Max yesterday, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Fury Road. Watched it with my parents because they really want to see Furiosa. So I was like, well, I have to watch Mad Max if I'm going to see Furiosa.
I think I'm just going to go straight burnt umber as a base on the skull and see where we can get with that.
I like it. Oh, Mo, we love your face, though. He said I tell them every day that I love their faces, but all I get are crickets. We acknowledge you. Don't worry.
You get crickets from who?
From us, apparently.
Huh?
From us. We love you. We love you, Mo.
Well, how many times in your existence have you heard me say we love you, your face too, Mo? How many times? Because if you listen to the stream or if you watch the stream with no volume, that's your own fault. I can't cure what ails you.
Jade said, as a receiver of a Jason hug, I can confirm he gives good hugs.
Who said that?
You do give good hugs. Jade. You know what, Division Ring? I wanted to watch Fury Road anyway, just to get a feel for what I was walking into.
Yeah, just not a fan. But you've heard me talk. Like, I don't like, reboots of old series with new modern twists. I think it's lazy. There's some that I like the Dune movies, right? Because it's not a reboot necessarily. It's another visual telling of the original story. If they were trying to say, make up a new Dune story or something, I'd be pretty perplexed on that whole thing. I'm just not a fan.
Even though it's like an origin story?
What?
Like, it's about...
An origin of a character that was never in Mad Max.
Okay, I see.
Right.
Well, Mad Max is based on books?
Or... They're passing the torch to a new era of characters, and I consider that to be a little egregious. I feel like it's lazy. I feel like Furiosa could have been in any dystopian world.
Gotcha.
And been a great character. I think they used Mad Max as a way to attract fans because of laziness. I've said this a lot, that there's a lot of lazy content creation in Hollywood where they just simply get the rights to something and then, make a story. Now, Mad Max, that may be a bad example. Maybe it had the original, people's blessing and all that. So I never know. I never pay attention to that stuff.
Right.
But, using, Star Wars has done it. Using a property that has so much love and fan appreciation and then creating a whole new generation of stories around it, to me, seems lazy. It's like, if you really have good stories to tell, they should stand on their own merit. You shouldn't need my IP,
right,
and then bastardize my IP. I think that's the case that I'm arguing against, is that a lot of times they'll take the old IP and just throw it out the door because they act like they have a better story to tell.
Right.
I'm like, that's not what it's for, though, right? Rings of Power, stuff like that, where they're just bastardizing what was canon in Lord of the Rings to their own merit because some writer thinks he has a better idea of telling a story. I'm like, well, good. Well, then write your own story and see if it sells.
Yeah.
Because what has done the legwork for you and what has created your success is someone else's hard work, not your own. And I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, so I can agree with that.
I want original, and the other side is that I just want original stories. I want to be able to get into new worlds.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of me that's like, this is boring. Marvel's boring because I grew up with it. I don't need more of it.
Yeah.
You
want new.
I get that there's a whole new generation of people, so I'm being very selfish as I say these things.
No, but there is, like, even I didn't grow up with all of that stuff, but even I'm, like, tired of Marvel. And, like, I definitely want, like, new stories to
new worlds,
capture me.
Yeah, I want to go to new places. I want my creativity to really be kind of jazzed up again.
Yeah.
I want to not have it be Star Wars again. More space wizards and lightsabers and nonsense. It's like, hasn't that story already been told?
Right.
Like the new movies, the episodes, 7, 8, and 9 or whatever they are.
They're bad.
They're bad.
They're
They're just retelling of an old story that already was told well enough to be left alone. Why do we need it again? You didn't do anything new. You didn't create anything new.
And in some cases, they made, like, things a little bit worse.
Oh, they made things worse, yeah.
Which...
Now, that's all subjective when we say that. So,
yeah.
Some people love them, and that's fine. You can love the content, but I would have been more excited for that story with, like, Rey and everything else they were doing had somebody created a different world. Or expanded it beyond the Luke Skywalker Han Solo part of Star Wars, gone and told another story in that galaxy. There used to be a whole lot of really cool extended galaxy kind of stuff for Star Wars, and they just kind of poo-pooed all that in favor of going back and retelling the same story about the same handful of characters, except now we're going to kill them off and make our own.
Yeah.
Because those guys are old. It's just lazy. It's like we were talking about the stories that are like, oh, in the end, you know, it didn't make any sense during the whole telling of the story, and we found out in the end it was because it was a dream.
Oh, I hate it's such a lazy ending.
It's lazy. Well, that's
like,
all this is.
it's just
a
an
world of
excuse.
lazy storytelling is what Star Wars and Marvel have become. Because it's money. You know,
Yeah.
you can make money being lazy, so why not?
Yeah. Because people will watch it because it has the Star Wars.
Didn't
name
Jason just
blasted all
complain
over it.
about adding new characters to the universe? Now he's complaining about not? Well, understand, don't take the word universe to mean all-encompassing universe. I'm saying that within the, like, Star Wars universe is Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2, and the Wookiee.
Yeah.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader. That's that Star Wars universe. Everything else was just a subset. Lando, all that was a subset of that. To make a show about Lando Calrissian is just a waste of time. Because there's nothing you're going to tell that increases or makes the main story any better. I would agree that maybe a short story about Lando would be really neat. We don't need a whole series about Boba Fett, right? Boba Fett was a character with no backstory that had really nothing to do in the main movies except be a bounty hunter that Darth Vader bossed around. Everybody liked his outfit and thought a story about him would be cool, but he died in a Sarlacc pit. And now they brought him back and we have a series that's half-baked at best. You know,
Yeah.
when they could have told a really bitchin' story about an aging bounty hunter somewhere else in the Star Wars universe that didn't have to be tied to Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all that stuff. It could be somewhere else and utilize the power of that world to tell news stories and draw me into other things.
Yeah.
Because you can't try to convince me that the entire galaxy was based around 10 people.
Right.
Like, that just doesn't feel real. Those situations were, but there's a lot more going on in the world, and it almost makes it not feel relatable when everything keeps tying back to the same principal character. I
Yeah.
get tired of that, right?
Because that's assuming that we as people function that way.
Yeah, and we don't.
No.
We don't. We know the world's bigger than we are, which is what gives sort of an empowerment to when we do cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like I always say, your lack of value is what makes you able to see the value in the deeds that you do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand how minuscule you are before you can see the power you contain.
Yeah.
Because if you wander around strutting your stuff like how badass you are all the time, well, then you're just fake, right? So
Right.
a lot of that feels bad to me. Right? They could have done so much in the world of Star Wars. There were a lot of really good stories in the extended universe, but a lot of the Hollywood people don't like that. I feel like, well, it doesn't make instant money because it makes you work hard. You have to tell a new story in a way that seems, you know, neat and new.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're afraid to do that. You leaving?
Yeah.
Hi, it's Jen.
Briefly.
I don't know if this is something you need
Was it?
now or if you maybe put it on your desk.
Was it? Well, ooh. I know what this is. It's a model I'm going to paint.
Well, I saw-
Ooh.
From Oliver.
I saw-
Are you leaving?
I said it, but
Paint
if
Liquor
you're
says
open,
hi,
I'll
Jen.
watch it. Hi, Paint Liquor.
It's a neat 3D printed miniature that Oliver Spaeth 3D prints some models that are done by sculptors, and this one is kind of a loosely based Space Marine bust type thing that I just fell in love with when I saw it. I was like, ooh, I want to paint that. And so I got sent one.
Is this yours?
So this may be my next project. Woohoo! That's going to be good.
I don't think that's Jason's. He doesn't drink those.
It's just a random Capri Sun, and it's cold.
Well, that's scary.
I'll just leave that
I don't
there.
know that it should be
We'll
cold.
see if it's still cold when Jordan gets back.
Ooh.
He's got some gribbly crows that are eating his eyeballs. Some gribbly birds
I like those crows.
gnawing on his peepers.
If I could have a pet bird, it would be a raven, I think,
Ugh.
which is similar to a crow.
They're like eating stuff off his head.
That's why I don't like birds, because that's what they do.
Yeah. So there you go. That's going to be fun. That's a neat model. He's got an underbite, like a serious underbite.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm excited.
Cool. You have something after work tonight?
I do?
Do you? I don't know.
I think I'm filming with Chris.
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah, like a
filming.
quick hobby nerd thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not.
Not a long thing.
Okay. All right. Hi. Bye.
Hi, bye. Say hi, Jen. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
The birds ate his
See
top
you.
jaw.
Have a good weekend, everyone. I'll see you Monday.
Monday.
Bye, Jen. Have fun. Of course. Xenophonetic said Monument Cinematic Universe has just tacked Shelby on lazy storytelling. Yeah, I mean, Game Delay said it before. What did he say? Let me go back up to that. It was a good one. Game Delay said it's like assuming that the Monument Hobby stream is the entire story of Monument Hobbies. There could be so much about Chair Guy and New Guy Phillip and Kyle and the Fisher Queen and I think that's what Jason is arguing against, though.
Yeah, I think we're done with this universe. We need to expand beyond the boundaries of
Exactly.
Monument HQ and the wonderful story that we have created here.
Hi, Jess. How are you? Are you enjoying your new paints?
What's that?
Do you like the way that your new paints are working?
Yeah.
They-
I've
They look good.
been enjoying. It's funny when I do product testing like this. Really, what I'm going through is looking at properties, seeing how easy it is for me to use. Do I have to be doing anything crazy to get it to work the way I want? Because I have to think about everybody out there using it and not just what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's always it can detract from what I'm doing sometimes. So sometimes I pull back and I go, oh, I am painting too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I chose to do this rather than just, on a piece of paper or on a miniature I don't care about. I'm actually painting.
Yeah.
So it's adding the fun back into the product testing for me, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because I'm looking at things and trying to determine colors that I want to see,
Mm-hmm.
Which is fun. It's good.
It's good. T-Schmidt, yes. He said, I've been gone a couple of days. Are you testing the new thick paints?
Are we what?
Are we testing the new thick paints?
Yeah.
That's what T-Schmidt asked.
Yep. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you and the fam are doing good.
Xenophonetic said, I'm unhappy with my Mystique progress. I wonder if I should not use a yellow/purple based shadow. I have no idea how to help you.
What's making you not like it? The color of the shadow? Is that what I'm hearing?
T-Schmidt said they're all good, just a lot to sort through.
Yeah. Never easy. And it just is undue stress too, right? So it's not what you plan for.
Xenophonetic said the transition seems rough or not right.
Did you start from your dark base and work to the top? Because for white, that's what I always suggest. Trying to lay shadows back over white will generally give you way too much contrast and be very difficult to create blends you're happy with until you're, super confident with your skill. I work from shadow to bright on everything. But I would start with shadow. Even if you've already painted or white, I would start and paint the whole thing, the shadow color, and then work to your mid-tone and then your highlight.
I think her robe is too flat, maybe?
Can we see the Orky model again? This guy? It does kind of feel like a Lord of the Rings orc, but I think it's supposed to be like more of a Death Guardy, nasty. See a lot of mold release agent on there. I was thinking it'd be 3D printed, but I don't think this is. Or maybe it is. He's doing it on a very, very high-end printer, if that's the case. Because it's got maybe the support is what I'm looking at as a release agent. Maybe it's done with solid supports and an industrial resin type thing. It's really good. Very clean. Doesn't look like I have to do any kind of processing to it. They've already gotten all the sprue bits are off and sanded and ready to go.
It's nice.
I like it. Put it on a stand, start painting.
Nice.
I mean, it's no Crone, but
It's no crone.
you know,
They can't all be.
it can't all be this good.
I have no idea how to pronounce this username. Chochacho? That sounds fun. I'm going to go with that. Thanks for the tips on the metallic medium and blue transparent following up. I'm going to need to thin this transparent down. I just ordered some glaze medium, but any tips for doing this? I'm pretty new to painting. Am I just thinning to taste? LOL. Or let me know if I'm overthinking it.
I'm going to need to thin this transparent down. Yep. Yeah, the transparency needs to be thinned a ton. You ordered some glaze medium, but any tips for doing this? Okay, so thanks for the tips on metallic medium and blue transparent. You don't have to use the glaze medium. You can use water. But you're going to want to be real aggressive with the transparents as you're finding out, right? Because they are ultra high pigment, right? They're much the same as these paints I'm using right here. They are very high-end, low viscosity, single pigment artist paints. So you'll notice the vibrancy is over the top. You know, when people say, hey, you know, what would I use heavy-bodied artist acrylics for? And I'm like, well, for us, it's like the best of both worlds. You're going to get the vibrancy of the transparents, right? You're going to get it in a thicker paint that allows you to have a better starting point maybe for whatever you're trying to do. Your wet blending and stuff like that. Gives you a lot of really cool resources there. But the punch in the pigment is way overboard. So thin them. Don't be afraid. You can get to the point with the transparents that it feels like you have more water in the mix than paint. And that's usually when they really start coming alive. You can always add more paint in and layer another layer up to get the color where you want it on the model. But it's hard to take vibrancy away, right? Not impossible. You can do it and glaze over it, filter it down, things like that. But that's a struggle that you don't really want to have to tackle. So I'm always of the mind to start on the side of, you know, thinning too much and then work back up to the amount of intensity of color and opacity that you really are looking for. That's what I'm doing here, right? I'm going with a very thin, lots of water in my brush, layer of burnt umber and titanium white mixed together. Because I want to be able to control the amount of the raw burnt umber that shows through. And I'll just keep doing this. I'll just keep layering with it. So I'm over thinning, so to speak. And then just work it back to a spot that I'm really comfortable with. Also lets me build up some texture for the skull, because plates on the skull are going to have all sorts of cloudy coloring and texture to them.
The Doja said it would be cool to have a palette cam to see how the paints work, mixing, applying to brushes, dilute, and whatnot. Do we have that set up?
Boom.
Aha! Look at that. Asking shall receive.
Boom. It's not going to catch all of them, but it'll get a good spot. I'll try to work in this spot. You're not going to see all the colors because I've got them run lengthwise here, and I can't turn it the other direction without being left-handed, without getting my hand in the paints, I don't think. But I'll show you as best I can, and I'll try to call out the colors. If I don't, just yell at me, and I'll tell you. Right now, I've got a pile here that is burnt umber and white. So I just get a little bit of water on the brush, grab a little bit of burnt umber here, take a little bit of the titanium white, and just get that the way I like it. Dampen my brush back, because by putting paint on the brush, you'll remove a lot of the moisture. And then I just come over here, do as I always do, take some moisture off on my thumb palette. And then again, just kind of come through here with really quick, sloppy brush strokes to generate some texture as I go. But I'm painting the exact same way I would with liquid acrylics in terms of, you know, starting dark, working the light. There's nothing different in utilizing these paints versus our normal paints, other than the intensity of the pigmentation. Because the closer you get to that kind of raw pigment feel, the more vibrancy you're going to have. That will take some getting used to as you start using artist acrylics like these. I say artist acrylics. They're the same pigment that we use in our Pro Acryl line. So unlike other paints, this is going to feel very similar. You're just going to have a lot of intensity. And so dealing with that as you glaze and get the feel for it is going to be the only real learning curve.
Game Delay said, if you keep the brain in a sealed skull, does it keep the brain fresher until you're ready to grow the mushrooms?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Brain shrooms. I can't remember whose. I feel like this was Inez's, our character designer. I did not have. I had her holding a skull. I did not have stuff growing out of the skull. So this is a good way to show you the iterative and cool collective process of artwork that can come about. Is I was really stoked when Inez showed me her concept of like cool stuff, you know, coming out of the skull with the mushrooms and such. And then William Tsang, our sculptor, put the mushroom in her hand, because I had her hand in a different way, this hand, in a different way, but it wasn't going to print very well. And so he said, well, why not have her picking one of these out of the deal? And I was like, oh, that's great.
He loves her mushrooms.
I love having great artists work with me. I can't always see it. Sometimes the forest and the trees mentality takes place because I've got the idea initially, I run with it, and I've got a very clear-cut path to the finish line that I've thought of, but I missed all of the race, or big chunks of the race, because I was too worried about, you know, getting to the end. And so other artists will jump in and be like, hey, what if we did this? That might be cool. Catch places where I fall down. Just great. I love having other people to work with. Which was not the case when I was younger. And when I was younger, I would always be like, I got this, hold my beer. And I didn't really care that anybody else had a better idea than I did.
You've grown so much.
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable being the initial concept point, and then being able to, because I found a lot of value in working with other artists and letting those artists have ownership of the idea as much as you do. Like, I feel like every artist that touches a project, if they feel like they're putting a piece of themselves and getting to add some of their ideas to the pot, then the whole product turns out much better.
Yeah.
Right?
Rather
because
than
if I just
trying
give
to-
them, if I just draw this and I say, do it exactly like I gave it to you, that's generally the way art directors work. And then you just become a production artist and you've sapped your own soul, you know?
Yeah.
Because now you're just doing what they like, even if you have a problem with it. So I like my artists, I tell them, you know, if you see something you think you change, you know, toss it up. I'm not always going to say yes, but I'm willing to listen.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's great stuff. We keep most of it, you know?
Yeah.
And when it's not stuff we keep, you can tell that the artist kind of knew it was not the right idea, you know, but that we just kind of threw it in the hat anyway.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it sticks. Nothing wrong with that at all.
That's the same approach that I have with my tattoos. Like, I'll just tell my cousin, like, hey, this is my idea. Here's some references, but you, like, do your thing. And I like it. Works out.
With the tattoos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know how it feels to get burnt out when someone's like, I want this exact thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Have you thought about this, this or this? And they're like, nope. You're like, all right, I'm just doing it. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it the way you like it. And when you don't like it, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, with tattoos, that was one of the things that I always used to have a hard time with, was I would draw my tattoos, take it to the artist, and be like, here's what I want. And they're like, I really don't, can I change some stuff? And I'd be like, no, I want it exactly like this. And I didn't get as good of an output as had I, you know, allowed them to put their 2 cents in.
Mm-hmm.
What if we turned it like this?
Ryan Wallace, yes, these are the heavy body paints. Xenophonetic said, so when are the regular paints getting cyan? Did you decide on toxic cadmium versus the synthetic?
No, I haven't had that. I'm not at that point in the conversation yet. I'm still working for just looking at light fastness and things of that nature.
Game Delay said, that's my same approach with children. We'll try this trial to see if they work out, see if they stick, but if not, sometimes it's not meant to be.
So
that might not be a good...
I'm gonna go along with it because I like you. But Game Delay, that might be approaching it from the wrong vector.
Jamie Daggers, thank you for the raid.
Jamie!
Welcome, everyone.
What is going on, Raiders? Hello, hello. Jamie, a little bird has told me we share a birthday. Is this a truism?
That's fun. Said, hey Jason, a little bird just told me the same thing.
Well, look at that. I'm having a miniature sale tomorrow in your honor, then. We are, for those of you who might not know, we distribute Mindworks and Journeyman Miniatures models. And tomorrow, in celebration of mine and Jamie's and Wad's and some other people, birthdays, I will be putting all of those on 40 freaking % off.
What?
Yeah, it's stupid.
That is. That's crazy.
It's stupid.
So get your models.
I think that's better than the employees can buy them.
It is. We
Yeah.
only get 30, I think.
Yeah, so you're getting better than employee discount on them. So if you've been wanting any of the busts, amazing models that Journeyman or Mindworks offers, starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Arizona time is your chance to buy them at a ridiculous price.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it'll last. I think I've got it running at least through the weekend, and then we'll see how we feel. But
Paint Liquor, yes, it is tomorrow.
there you go. Jen's leaving. So I'm throwing sales. We never do sales, by the way. This is the first sale we've ever done on the web.
Wow.
This is the first sale Monument Hobbies has ever had.
That's so exciting.
Isn't that crazy? I never even really put that together until just this minute.
Jamie Daggers asked, is it just going to be through your site? Yes.
Yeah, just for the site.
I want to make sure we've got a link set up to tell folks. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Monument Hobbies, the miniatures link. We'll have the post going out in the morning. It's just the third-party miniatures, not stuff like our texture trainers like this. These are already just $20.
Yeah.
So if you have not seen our texture trainers,
They're awesome.
we don't have the Crone available yet. She's the new one. But we have the Warrior, who is a bounty hunter. The Hunter, and then the Warrior. Bounty hunter, and then the Warrior. So, fantastic ways to just practice painting various textures, just a cool model. But yeah, we keep these very, very value priced so that we have people that buy them by the handful and use them to test new color combos and things like that. That's what Jordan uses. Jordan takes all of the factory seconds from the printing process around here and uses them in our shorts. So you'll see a lot of them being painted around here. There's not just one model being reprimed a million times. Jordan's got like 80 of them under his desk over here.
Game Delay said apparently people have bigger hands than I do. You said people are getting them by the handfuls. I like it. I don't know if Jason did, but I like it.
I mean, that was a weak attempt, but I'll give it E
will
for effort.
will the models be available in Europe? I'm pretty sure.
Ours, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we get
ship
production
to
ramped up
Europe.
enough, which is going on right now. Brennan is our product lead on that, and he is doing great. We have 3 new production machines that are supposedly going to show up today. So as soon as those machines are in-house, then he'll be able to run a tremendous amount per day, you know, in the hundreds of models a day. And so, you know, in a week's period, we'll be able to generate enough to then offer them out to distribution. Right now, we haven't really advertised them much, and definitely not to retailers and such. They can get them, but we haven't had like full on marketing around them because we haven't been able to keep up with demand. As they are, they sell down to like, you know, out of stock in just a few days.
Are you keeping the Jen can't stop me code? I think it's just gonna be built in, right?
What's that?
The sale. Like you won't
It's just built in.
Yeah, you won't need a code.
You don't need a code. Starting tomorrow at 9 a.m., you just go to the site. We already tested it. You go to the site, all the miniatures are marked down. Done deal. It does not stack with other codes, so your streamer codes and stuff won't work for the miniatures. So be aware of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to restrain myself, but I think I might have to. Might have to hold back.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting with our employees who have been having wish lists.
Oh, but there's... Oh, I forgot about that one. Shoot. Shoot, dang.
Jamie, thank you. That's awesome. Don't you want the crone in your shorts? Wait a minute. What kind of nonsense are you talking?
Ghost Hunter. That was too easy.
I think I'm going to do the same thing we did with her, and I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow ochre, white. Get a nice kind of pale yellow worked up, and then dump a little bit of the umber into that rather than just the umber and the white for the teeth.
It's like he does this for a living. Are you gonna give the skull a gold tooth?
I hadn't thought about it. There's no reason why we couldn't. Is that just my thing now?
I like that attitude. It just would look so cool. I think it might have to be your thing now.
We gave a gold front to the bear, right?
Yeah. Tiny. Still need to I need to get shelves so I can display Heine in my office.
Yep, because he's just sitting here
I know.
on my shelf.
You don't deserve him.
And I'm going to take just a really sloppy, thin glaze. Again, just water on my brush, but I'm going to, here, let me do that on camera. So take the number 6 with a lot of water on it, right? So see if it picks up the shine there on the, well, it's focused down here. There you go. A lot of shine on it, a lot of water. Then I'm just going to grab a little bit of the umber and like this kind of thickness, right? So very low opacity, very quick to get a glaze. And then we're going to go back over what we just did on the teeth with that. Tie in those shadow spots this way.
You know what, Game Delay? It's not my fault that you have your head in the gutter, okay? Some of us don't have our minds in such dirty, stinky places.
And it's kind of you'll see me having color intrusion. Like on my white I've got, you can't see it over here. On my titanium white, let's see if I can pick this up. Push that out of the way. Right. On my titanium white, you see I got some yellow ochre in there. I kind of leave that. When I'm painting canvas, I typically let a lot of color intrusion happen across my mixes. It's just a thing that's built into the way I learned to paint on canvas. Because I was a messy kid, is really what it is. And so that's following me here as I use them. I don't know how to use them any other way. And by having a little bit of color intrusion, it kind of ties my palette together across the model in new ways. Whereas when I'm working with liquid acrylics, I don't do that. Liquid acrylics, I don't know why, but I just tend to want my paints separated. like a kid that doesn't want their food touching on the plate.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, that's how I know that I could never be, like, an artist. Because
Shelby, you are an artist.
well...
You do some pretty amazing stuff.
But just, like, I have to keep things so separate.
Yeah. Well, there's a benefit to that too, right? You get way more vibrant coloring that way. Your palette doesn't get as desaturated if you don't let all your colors run together.
Mm.
And so there's definitely validity in that. You know, if you are painting brightly colored stuff, then you don't want all your colors to run together. You want to keep them separate until it's very deliberate to mix them. And that's fine. Completely fine.
Is there a reason you're not using your glass palette?
It's dirty. I haven't cleaned it in 80 million months. And these paste paints want to be put on a flat surface, not on the undulating surface where I can't get to them, because they will pack it in pretty tight on that. So yeah, it's literally just I'm too lazy to clean my palette, so I'm suffering and using paper right now.
It's a little dirty. Just a bit. I'm getting Shelby a bento box for the next gift giving occasion. I frequently think about getting a bento box. They look so fun. I love containers of any kind, honestly.
Containers?
Yeah. Every time I go to a thrift store, and pass by like a box, I have to look inside of it. I have to see what's in the box.
Sure.
Even if it's nothing.
I can see that. I don't know if these lines are in the right spot for cranial plates, but who cares?
He wants to age his paint chips. Gross.
I'll do a little stippling at the end of my strokes here.
See, Awkwardish gets it.
This stuff blends so effortlessly that it just allows you to play, and yet still does pretty good fine detail even at low opacity like I'm working at right now. Being able to do these crazy squiggly skull plate lines.
Vile Need said, please make the shrooms the red and white ones.
Oh, that I think so, yeah. Right? With like polka dots?
Yeah, classic toadstool.
Red tops, white polka dots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling it.
Gameplay said, the funny thing is, I would not have been shocked if Jason did happen to know where skull plates go.
It's not something I've ever wanted to commit to my brain.
I would not be shocked either, though. Sometimes you just have, like, you have random knowledge and experience that you just, like, pull out and drop at different times. It's like, what the heck? Where did that come from?
Yeah. Only if I've involved myself in something where that was a bit that I needed to understand. I've never been at a point where bones and skulls were a real big thing.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know that I care. It's not that I don't care, but, I don't care.
Right.
Let's pretend that, the bird skull is going to be a little more bleached. So I'm going to get more white going here early on.
Game Delay said, when I was working as an undertaker, ...
That's not something I've done. All the jobs that I've had, I would like to say were done with the idea that they would be kind of my career, right? The thing I would say is that other than my first high school job, where I was working at Michael's MJ Designs, right? Or actually, that would have been my first, I think. That was just a job. That was just, I need money. I'm a kid. And I don't want to babysit for allowance anymore. But I would say that other than that, all my jobs I attacked with, like, I want to do this. Like I did artwork for a woman who had a fashion line. And I thought that was my destiny. That didn't last.
What?
You asking me what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, she had a fashion company called Lapon Industries or something like that, which I think in French means like rabbit.
Okay.
And she did these custom painted clothing. And so I would do stencil and template designs for her that she could then have production painters paint through the stencil onto these clothes.
Okay.
And then she also did like random denim and cotton. I wouldn't call it sportswear. This is back in the day when Banana Republic had a really unique like catalog. Banana Republic, we think of like, cheap couture.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a bad term, but you get my drift. They're trying to be fancy for years. And like mid-budget fancy. And back then it was like dungarees.
Right.
And their catalog was done in a style that was like a half-size print catalog that was all hand-drawn or looked hand-drawn sketch of the clothes.
Uh-huh.
And that was all it was. There's no pictures in it of the actual clothes. Because it was like jackets with lots of pockets, fishing-looking gear,
Yeah.
Field hats and stuff like that. And she wanted a catalog like that, so I drew a catalog like that for her.
That's cool.
Her company never went anywhere, so.
Paint Liquor said the devil wears pro curl.
The devil wears pro acryl.
I love it.
Yeah, but I don't know if I always thought every job would be my last job, but I sure approached them as such.
The Punisher made a very good point. Said very easily could have had skull knowledge from tattooing and or motorcycle painting if you ever did more realism styles.
What's that?
If you had ever done any more like realism styles when you were tattooing or motorcycle painting, then you would have had skull knowledge.
Oh,
So it could have been an assumption.
I don't know. I mean, this is pseudo realistic,
Yeah, I'm not sure if people, I mean, I guess if probably for tattoos, but I don't know how many people care enough about skull
Some would.
anatomy.
Some really would. Some people
Yeah.
that I've talked to in tattooing are like, hey, I need this to be. That's why I didn't do portraiture
Mm-hmm.
in tattoos,
It's
because
very
I didn't
specific.
like being limited to copying the photograph.
Yeah.
Right. It's not fun for me. And that is the same reason why overtly realistic stuff was not really my forte, because it's limiting for me. Some people really love that.
Right.
So I can't say it's limiting in general. It's just for me, it kind of sucked the life out of why I was doing art.
Yeah. Because for you, you don't want to just copy something
Yeah.
that someone else has already
Yeah, it's like when
made.
Jordan and I talk about box art. I don't want to copy and do Spider-Man because it's like everybody knows what Spider-Man looks
Right.
like. My freedom isn't really as an artist there. But so you can see same color palette. I use the same, white and burnt umber, but I just started brighter over the same burnt umber base and then went one step brighter. And so now my bird skull and my human skull are different but same.
From the same.
Really easy methods to get more out of the colors that you already have. A lot of people when they get into miniature painting think you have to go buy another color to get, I want to do bone, so I need to get another color of bone because I want to do, bleach bone. So I go buy bleach bone. I'm like, just add more white to the bone color you already have and you get close. And then you don't have to work as hard on all of that because the same colors create different variety for you.
I like it. Kimberly said, I'm now imagining Jason with a neck scarf and tight pants holding very small food and talking about what to expect this season.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
That would be a funny commercial.
Nobody
write that
wants
down.
that. Nobody wants that. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. All right, let's pull this down and we'll make some flesh. Some flesh tones. Here, you want to know how easy it is to make flesh?
Yes.
CAD red. Get more than that. Don't be cheap.
Don't be stingy.
Primary
with your red.
yellow. Get it to where it feels like a pretty good orange, right? Titanium white. Bam.
Ooh,
Skin tones.
pretty.
There you go. There you go. Flesh. Bam.
Check that out.
Yeah, I might want that a little bit darker on her hand. So I'm going to add in a little bit of green.
Mo said witchcraft.
I'm adding a little bit of the hunter or the hooker's green. There we go.
Hooker's
Darken
great.
it up, but not just by shading. I could add black there or Payne's gray, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to get a little bit of skin coloring going at the same time. So the hooker's green helps as a shade as opposed to, just a normal shade color. Generally we navigate towards blacks or Payne's grays or whatever.
Fido said, hold on, those are just McDonald's colors.
Yes,
McDonald's equals skin tone.
skin tone.
Always remember that.
Yeah, you want to make skin? What color is McDonald's? It is red, yellow, white, and then other amounts of those colors will shift it into, more pinkish if you add more red. More Middle Eastern skin tones if you add more yellow. You saw me add green into it. All of the above are good.
The Punisher said
Umbers.
that most of the hookers in my area wear red.
Well, these hookers were green.
You got me there, game delay. However, it was obvious, okay?
Gotta try harder. Gotta put some effort in it. Put your back into it.
What's wrong with classic fisherman's hooker green? You guys and your silly jokes. That's actually a really interesting fact.
What's that?
Mechanized Imposter said Hooker's Green is named I can't speak right now. Hooker's Green is named after the botanist illustrator that developed it.
Yep. Same with Payne's, and
I love that.
so many colors are the artist who created the color.
Sometimes I think about that, era of discovery, and I go, I really grew up in the wrong time.
Why?
I think it would have been hard because I'm a woman, but it would have been very fun to be a botanist.
Oh, yeah.
There are still botanists today, but there's something less fun about it because there's not as much, I feel like, to discover.
Well, and it's not very celebrated.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it's treading new ground.
Right. But I read a book once that drew me in because it was about botanists, and I was like, it just sounds so fun. Discovering.
Hello, Christopher.
You blew his cover. He came in and he told me to shh. He didn't want to be discovered.
Well, gotta do better than that.
No more heroes, including scientist heroes. That's how it feels sometimes.
Seems like people still have heroes, but they are either rappers or,
Yeah.
sports stars for some reason.
Yeah. I've never been, obsessed with a famous person the way that some people have.
Yeah, I've never been a
Not
fan in
Not
that
super
way.
into it.
I like stuff,
Right.
but I don't have heroes.
No. It's dangerous. It's dangerous having heroes. Gotta keep yourself safe.
Be your own hero.
Ghost Hunter said, my hero is a disability lawyer artist.
You may be here listening.
Yeah, careful.
If you aspire to be someone else's hero, you might just stumble into being your own.
Wow. You can take that to the bank.
There you go. Food for thought.
Wind Powered Games said, any tips for layering to get good skin tones?
I'm doing it.
Doing it right now.
Red, yellow, white is all I'm using right now. A little bit of Hooker's Green. So for Hooker's Green would be like dark camo green. Or dark yellow green might be a better way to do that. But if you're not interested in doing your own, you can start with like advanced flesh tone. That's kind of what I've made here out of our normal line. And then I'll just brighten this up and darken it down as needed as I go. I'm just going for coverage right now. She's got these crazy bony fingers. A lot of texture to them without necessarily looking like it.
Ryan Wallace, are you telling me that you're an archaeologist? Because that's awesome. Game Delay told Ghost Hunter to get better heroes.
Yeah, because that one's trying to figure out if his kids are worth it or not.
Yeah, he's just testing out kids and seeing what works. Ryan Wallace, that is a very cool profession. And I can see how that would be very exciting.
As being an archaeologist?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go like on digs that, but I feel like a lot of that is unimpressive to get the occasional one that you're like, oh, this was bitching.
Yeah.
But so much of life is like that. You paint, we paint a lot to get to that one where you're really like, I'm really digging this.
Yeah. I get it. Digging. You just made a pun and you didn't even know it.
I didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you're really digging it.
I'm digging it. That was an archaeology joke.
Yeah.
I do it for the kids.
Ryan Wallace, you should use that one once you get your master's in archaeology. Just say you're really digging it.
I like an archaeology. I'm digging it.
Oh, now I want to get a degree in archaeology just so I can make that joke. So good.
I'm going to need you to step away from the college brochure, Shelby.
I feel like there would be something yes, there is a chance that you won't find something, but I think the thing that would keep me going is like, what if there is something? The hope. It would keep me going.
Now a little bit of white in that color just to start lining out some highlights along the finger edges here.
Teeny tiny victories. Yes, Jamie did raid in. We wish them a happy birthday. Deadbeat Artist said, I was an archaeologist for a summer in Portugal. If you like working with your hands in the dirt, it's a lot of fun.
Shelby ate dirt growing up, so this sounds right up her alley.
I used to make mud pies and eat handfuls of dirt, so sounds right up my alley. Ghost Hunter, I think Jason just doesn't support college because he doesn't want me to leave. He doesn't want me going to college.
Nope. She can't leave. This is not how this works. She doesn't need college. She's got everything she needs right here. Y'all shush. So now I'm just taking some Hooker's Green, putting it into the reservoir of paint that I had already done, and then I'm just going to glaze this into the shadows here. This is what I did under her chin and neck. Right, so just on the back side of the fingers.
Ryan Wallace said, and I do the dig it joke all the time, and telling people my career prospects are in ruins.
Oh,
These are all great.
that's so good.
I love it so much.
It's like built-in horrible dad jokes.
It's awesome.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Teeny Tiny Victory said the crone is looking fabulous already. It is.
My first wife, her major in college was primate anthropology studies. She wanted to be Jane Goodall,
Okay.
so she had high aspirations.
Yeah.
So as she's going through her master's or whatever the hell she was doing, I was helping her. So I'm doing these, 3x5 cards with all these things, like, what makes the primate's eyes shine at night? Taptum lucidum. So I'm doing all this stuff with her. So I know way
Okay.
more about anthropology for primate studies than I should.
Yeah.
Brachiating and prehensile tails and all this nonsense. So we're doing all that. And then later on down the road, people would say, like, so how's that going for you? The whole primate studies. And she'd just look at me. You get it?
Are you saying?
She studied apes,
Yeah. Yeah.
so she could hang out with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went over well.
I'm getting it.
I like Jen way more.
Yeah, she doesn't call you an ape.
Not to my face. That's talk that she has with the girls. She's nice enough not to bring it up in public.
The bar is so low.
She's nice enough not to. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Need to go back here. Maybe I can. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Was dig out some white and see. There we go.
See, Xenophonetic, that's exactly the outlook I had on college. I only joke around about getting a degree. I have no interest in getting a degree. Because if I'm really interested in something, I'll just go figure it out. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars and go into debt for it.
Yeah, I think for me, college was one of those where when I realized, and it was kind of an epiphany that I had, right? Like one day, I think it might have even been in class. I was going for acoustical engineering, right? And it hit me one day that, you know what? At the end of this road, there is no guaranteed job. This isn't like if you're an attorney from a huge school or something like that, and Game Delay will probably laugh at me here. My expectations are probably all bent out of shape that you nowadays can still, get a job based on, what school you went to and such. But the idea for me went away very quickly that it's like, you know what, I'm going to do all this and then I'm still going to have to start from zero and figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
And so when the opportunity came up for me to work with somebody in the industry, I was like, yes, I will go be an apprentice rather than do the schooling because I'll learn the same stuff, but I'll learn it in a practical sense. Now, that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody feels as confident going out into the field and learning on the job in a way that you feel like you're also adding value and getting paid and all that. I kind of was fearless. I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out or I'll hate it. One or the other. It'll teach me where I need to be.
It's interesting, though, because so many of my friends are graduating right now. And they're all like, yeah, I can't find a job because every place wants you to have experience. And they're like, well, I just spent 4 years of my life learning this, but I don't have any experience. So now nowhere will hire me, even though I have this degree.
Awkwardish, isn't she? I'm having a blast painting her. Great model.
Horrible.
Loads of fun.
Prehensile tongues? I don't even know what that means, deadbeat artist.
Giraffes have prehensile tongues. I think they can. They can wrap it all the way around the branch and strip the leaves off the branch, can't they? I think that's how they get their eating done.
That makes sense. They do have weird tongues.
I can't imagine. I can roll mine up like a taco shell.
Or I can do like the 3-leaf clover.
Oh.
Yeah. It's weird.
Remember a friend of mine could like flip his upside down instantaneously, like on a whim, could just be like, whap, upside down tongue. I was like, ah.
How do you even
Now you'll try doing it for the whole rest of the show. An ex of yours used to say you walk like a Neanderthal. How would she know? But law school opens all kinds of doors. Dear Lord, don't do that to yourself. I like you too much. Yeah, exactly. Certain fields where it helps, but realistic, there's so much learning that can be done remotely. Captain Mannerings. Yeah, and I think, again, it exists in a world where what you're doing, some things just need, a tremendous amount of book learning in order to get through,
Like doctors.
Yeah, because medical studies and case history and stuff. Like same with attorneys. There's so much of that you could probably learn, but because you have to go through all that accreditation and then pass the bar and all that kind of crap, you're gonna go through it anyway.
Yeah.
Same with you're getting your medical degree. You got to go through all of the room learning, the book learning, and then the practical, and then all that too. So it's set up to where you have to follow that line.
Yeah.
I'm not going to walk into the doctor and be impressed if you're like, yeah, I did all my learning on the job.
Yeah, I'll be like,
What are we here for today?
Yeah.
Cranial exploration. Fantastic. I haven't done one of those ever.
Yeah.
This will be a learning experience for both of us. You got a degree part-time in your 30s once you already knew what would be useful for work and didn't have to run up debt for it. Yeah, I think if you can go backwards in time, so to speak, that way, were you already in the field and then you went back to get the degree to push yourself further? I've seen people do that, and that I really applaud, because if then you have the practical knowledge to know what to go pick out and you're not just general studies galore,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and also, like, when you decide to go to college, generally you don't really know what you want to do. Like, I didn't.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Like, I'm 18.
Exactly.
I don't know what I want to do.
I love it. It's like we feel like you graduated high school and all of a sudden you got a brain.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. I was still stupid as all get at. I wanted to drive fast, skateboard, play music, and maybe have a girlfriend if you could fit it in between the lines of all the rest of the stuff I was doing.
I studied audio engineering and ended up a machine learning engineer in the end. Yep, it's generally how it goes.
Vector, yeah. When you say audio engineering, like recording engineering, mastering, things like that. See, I learned all that hands-on at studios. And then I went to school for the science part of that, which is the wave acoustic management for architectural building of studios. And that's what I stopped going to school for, because I was like, Jotun, what's going on? Someone has their first actual brain surgery when they're the surgeon. Yeah. You don't get to test it in school? Wait.
Yeah, xenophonetic, that is pretty rare.
Basalt, I know a lot of people that go back for their MBA later after they have had the job for a long time. In education, I know Jen has a lot of friends that did that. When they decided they wanted to go on the track for being like an administration, they'd go back to school, get their MBA in like business or whatever, so they could become like school administrators or principals or whatever else.
What does the MBA stand for again?
Masters in something.
Yeah, my dad went back
Business
and got his
arts.
master's.
Went to uni when you were 20. So yeah, there's never a time to not go. You can do whatever you want. One of your friends is a mortician. Talk about printing money.
Yeah. So you would always have work. Yeah.
Yep. You either need to go into baby products, like the business of birth and death are the two that will always be in demand. Yeah, I knew a guy whose family was in the business of dying.
Jotun, yeah, we just started talking about college and then professions and...
I don't know how we got there, but yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
In the midst of painting the crone.
We were talking about archaeology, and then it just...
I'm thinking this thing wants to be some form of, like, deep purples.
Yes, I agree.
Right?
Yes.
So what do I got here that would do deep purples? I've got Payne's Gray. That's a good starting point. It gets us some bluishness in there, right? I've got some magenta here. That's going to take us into, like, the more bluish purples. I've got a little cad red, right? That's going to bounce that into a nice deep shade of plum. I think that's a good starting point. Let's do that.
I feel like when it comes to college and stuff, I more so just have things that I want to learn how to do. Like I don't care to like devote my life. I'd rather be like a jack of all trades rather than a master of one. And so there's just things that I like want to spend a little bit of time learning and then I can learn other things.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
That's
I always had a tendency to feel like I wanted to leave the ability to do the things I thought were cool. I
Yeah.
don't know that I had the foresight to say, what is cool today may not be cool tomorrow. I think at each step of the line, I thought, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm devoting my life to it. And then something else would get cooler. So I learned, pretty late in life, actually, that I'm never satisfied, is really what it is. And that by leaving your options open, but being able to commit enough to everything you do to be somewhat good at it so that you're, able to get a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourself is important. So then I just wet blended in some magenta into that purple because I'm recognizing as I'm painting the surface that that's the inside of the ear. So I want a little bit different coloration in there. I'll use the magenta directly. Then we'll go back to the normal color.
I could become a spy. Unless I already am one. You wouldn't even know.
I thought Jacob was our resident spy.
Hmm.
If it's you, I have been totally duped.
Hey, that's what makes a good spy. You're not supposed to find out. It's always the people you least expect.
Unfortunately, the way you find out about a spy is when you hear about him getting killed on a park bench.
Yeah.
Like even in today's world, right? A guy not too long back got killed on a park bench in Russia.
Oh,
Like a
wow.
spy.
Yeah, I don't think the spy life is for me, unfortunately.
No?
No.
No spying, no pirating?
Yeah. I did hear, though, I forget who told me. It might have been my grandpa, but I remember hearing that, like, when Americans are gonna go be spies in Europe, they have to learn how to not lean. Because Americans, when we're standing, we, like, lean on one leg or just, like, lean on objects. And Europeans don't do that. So it's kind of like a dead giveaway. So you have to unlearn leaning. I thought was interesting.
So now we know she's a spy because her family is a family of spies because they're training each other on spy knowledge. She just gave it up. You did not pay attention in class, Shelly.
Yeah. I got a B in that class. So. The Spy vs. Spy comics? I remember Spy vs. Spy from like in between cartoons on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, they used to do them as cartoons after they did, but they were in good gosh, where did Spy vs. Spy first come? Was that Mad or Cracked? Was Spy vs. Spy? Was it Mad magazine?
I don't know. Yeah, people are saying yes.
It is. Okay. Mad magazine. Okay. I feel like I was right there. Yeah, I was surprised because I wasn't watching the shows where that cartoon would have been a thing, right, at that point in time. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, are there more of these? Because this is rad. And then on YouTube, you can find a ton of them.
Yeah, they're cool.
I was like, oh my God, I loved these guys.
I always thought it'd be fun, like partner Halloween costumes.
Uh-huh.
And like if you're at a party, just like playing pranks the whole night on each other as like Spy versus Spy.
Oh my God, that would be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always in between, for me, it was in between like Tom and Jerry was when I would see Spy versus Spy. Deadbeat Artist said I had to hide my Mad magazines because Mom would get angry that I was reading that trash.
Yeah. Yeah. I was lucky in that regard because my parents were hippies and had much worse stuff around the house. They had like the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers comic books, stuff like that. So I
that
had
wasn't bad.
quite a exposure as a child. Fat Freddy's Cat. Stuff I still remember that I probably shouldn't remember because as a kid I wasn't supposed to be reading them. That was my introduction to the world of fiction. Ralph Bakshi for All the Wrong Reasons.
I don't even know what words you're saying right now.
I'm just making stuff up, but
You totally could be.
well, no, like Fritz the Cat was like the world's first like X-rated animated movie.
Okay.
Back when that meant something. Of course, with free porn on the internet. Spoiler alert, chat.
Right.
It's free porn on the internet. Now it's not even a thing. You say X-rated, people just laugh. But back in the day, that was a big deal. Heavy Traffic. Great rated R animated flick. Very crazy, activist, social aware cartoons that as a kid you're like sitting there watching with your parents.
Oh gosh.
That's actually not true. My mom didn't like let me watch those things.
Ryan Wallace said Betty Boop ruined marriages.
What's that?
Betty Boop ruined marriages.
Betty Boop? Why?
That's just what Ryan said. Ryan Wallace.
What am I missing?
I don't know. Betty Boop. Do you know who Betty Boop is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She's just like a voluptuous girl.
She's not that voluptuous. She's just a big head.
That's true. She does have a large head. Oh, she was based on a sex worker.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I don't know any history. It wasn't anything that ever interested me.
So funny because like these are all things that you can like find in antique stores.
Yeah.
Like that's the only place I ever see any of this stuff.
Yep.
Anymore.
Betty Boop, clocks.
Yeah. Gameplay said Jason cared more about Hooker's Green than other kinds.
Guaranteed.
I like this purple. It's a nice.
Just going for something really, really deep with
Yeah.
more blue to it than anything.
Yeah.
Because then when I go over it with some red, it'll stand out that much more.
Mhm. I see the vision. I like it.
I don't always make the right paint decisions, but
When he does.
when I do. It's funny, I don't know what, because it's probably why I never did good in art school. Or I didn't go to art school, art class,
Mhm.
right? Because I would always just let the idea of color come to me as I was painting, and everybody always wanted you to have a plan. Because the plan showed you would learn the material,
Right.
right? And I was like, well, I don't need to give you the plan, I just need to give you the project, right? They're like, no, we need to know what your plan is. I'm like, well, my plan is to do the project. That was not the right answer.
On finishing it.
It turns out that's not the right. That's not what they were looking for, Jason. That's not what they were looking for.
Yeah. I know. That step always felt unnecessary to me when I took art classes. I took an art class in middle school, and I always hated the like rough draft that they would make us turn in. I'm like, why am I making a rough draft of a picture?
Yeah, I ain't trying to do the same thing twice, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
Like, what happens when the rough draft ends up looking better than the final project, and I'm now upset.
that's when I knew comic book art wasn't for me, because I didn't want to ever have to do the art more than once, and that's what inking felt like. Inking felt like doing the art multiple times.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was never a good colorist in 2D. It didn't impress me. It didn't, not impress, wrong word. It didn't excite me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just never got interested in it.
Yeah.
And that's a real bad way to be, especially when you're young, right? I tell my nephew all the time, you have to open up your mind. You got to do the things you don't like so that you can find the things you really do.
Mm-hmm.
And so with art, I never gave it a chance to do the things I didn't like, to find out what I was good, proficient at and all that until much later on.
Phonetic said, sounds like me in math. I can just give the answer, right? I hated-
Math?
Yeah, in math, like, I experienced that as well. Like, it was so annoying because sometimes they would mark me off on tests if I just was like, oh, this is the answer, and I didn't show any of my work.
Oh, you got to show your work.
Mm-hmm.
Process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because process shows you've learned it.
Right.
You can guess the right answer, or you can get there. It's funny because a lot of mathematical equations, you can get the right answer by doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And that sounds weird, right? But you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you try to do it again, you'll get it wrong, even though you did the same process. So
Right.
that part I understood. That always made sense to me. Whether I like it or not is another story. But
I think it was more so, like, sometimes I would just skip the end step, and then they would still mark me off. I'm like, I show all of it up until that point. And you could obviously make the jump that I also made.
it was so weird for me because I loved like diagramming sentences when we did all that. I loved doing proofs in math.
Oh, I hated proofs.
That was just such my world. I loved it.
I did not like geometry. Algebra was my thing, but geometry was not. I couldn't stand proofs. I couldn't get out of that class faster. Yeah, it's unfortunate because geometry is also, it's mostly the only math that you'll ever use in the real world. Like,
Physics.
well, yeah, but like in terms of geometry and algebra, like algebra is not gonna,
Oh, yeah.
you're not gonna use algebra. So it's unfortunate that geometry just didn't ever click in my brain.
Yeah.
Hi, Zambies.
Yeah, we need to be able to just have like the matrix type thing where you plug in and you just understand physics and geometry.
Yeah.
Because that's called driving.
Right.
I would love to be able to inject that knowledge into some of the people in Phoenix.
Yeah, nobody here knows how to
Although
drive.
this morning I had one of those situations where like, oh, I'm the bad guy.
Oh no.
Yeah, I felt bad. There was a guy riding his bike in the middle of my lane on the way to work.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just one of our local transients, and he didn't care a lick, and he was going super slow, and a bus passed me, and so I was the guy that just got frustrated, and I was like whipped out in front of the people in the other lane. I was like, it's my turn. I was like, yep, I was that guy. Sorry. I waved sorry at the guy. He probably was flipping me off, but
I usually just give people a thumbs down.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Shake my head. Come on.
Nobody can see you. You learn early on. You learn driving the 91 freeway in California for years and years. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They're all trying their hardest not to pay attention to anything, including you, the person they just cut off.
Deadbeat artists, yes, they do still have physics in high school. I never took it, actually. They never made me take it, and I don't understand why.
They never made you take it? You didn't have to sit out in the hall with a slinky and do wave mechanics or anything?
No, I would have loved to.
Wow.
But yeah, because I don't understand the way that they did it. I was a year ahead in math and science. So all of I took them earlier than some other people in my year.
Yeah.
So I did biology my freshman year instead of my sophomore year.
Uh-huh.
But then I didn't have to take a science my senior year because that's just how their credits worked. You only needed 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took biology, chemistry, and environmental science, and that was it. I
Gotcha.
didn't have to take physics, and I don't. Seems like a bad call on their part.
On their part.
Hi, Wad. Welcome.
I want this thing to almost be black.
The imp.
But, yeah, the familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it, like, blue-black. I do blue-black all the time.
You want it like purple black.
Yeah, I'm doing this, like, magenta, purpley black.
It's looking that way so
I'm
far.
digging it.
I'm liking it. Wad said, Fuse, it's almost our birthday. Yeah,
What?
Wad, did you hear about what's happening on said birthdays?
I love how somehow my birthday became everybody else's birthday. Jamie Dagger's just trying to pilfer my birthday. It's been my birthday longer. Argue with me now.
Zambi said that she made Wad a birthday cake today.
And where's mine?
I knew he was going to say that.
And where's mine? Where's the birthday cake for the guy that supports everybody?
I think everybody supports you.
Do not send me a birthday cake, by the way. I get to be a little trashy. I get to be a little snarky on my birthday. I'm 50 freaking 4, people.
It's not even your birthday today, though.
50 freaking 4. Am I 54? Yeah.
It's snarky early.
I've been telling myself I'm 54 for so long that it scares me every now and then to thinking I'm 55.
Oh, because you just round up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the case. 54. I can't be senior discount age yet. I don't feel that way.
Does
And
it start at
gentle disown
55?
me.
Does the senior discount start at 55?
55.
Wow.
At some places, yeah. That's where the senior living, you can get senior living.
Oh,
I can go to all of these, like, senior living places around town.
Yeah, which seem terrible. Doesn't sound fun.
Dude, they have bingo every Tuesday.
Yeah, you want to go play bingo?
No.
Exactly.
Well, don't dash the dream before it's even had chance to root, Shelby. Jeez.
No, I was asking because I knew the answer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can see me playing bingo the same way nobody in the world can see me playing bingo. I mean, I don't know playing bingo. I played bingo before, like with my grandmother growing up. She would go to bingo night, and I would go and have fun, but I was like 8.
Right.
I feel like when you're 8, bingo's cool, and then not again until you're 80.
Yeah, everything's fun when you're 8.
Everything's fun when you're 8. Well, not everything.
Yeah, but most things. Zambi said, sorry, it's harder to hand deliver your cake.
What's that?
It's harder to hand deliver a cake to you than it is to Wad.
Hey, here come the excuses. Chat, here come the excuses. Here. Next, it'll be like, if you weren't thousands of miles away. You know?
Game Delay said, I forgot to mention that it's my birthday tomorrow.
See? Now Game Delay's stealing my thunder. Chat? See what I have to put up with, chat?
My next door neighbor and my childhood best friend and I have the same birthday.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. They, like, I can't remember.
Built-in birthday party buddy.
Right. I can't remember.
Did you
if
get
they
better
moved in.
birthday parties because both families planned them together? Like, were they bigger?
No, I actually don't. We didn't have very many birthday
Shared?
parties. Like, as just a family, like, we didn't really throw Like, we didn't get birthday parties.
Okay.
We didn't have enough money for that
Okay,
when I was
yeah.
growing up.
Yeah.
So,
Mine were like the 3 kids on my block,
yeah.
but none of them had the same birthday. I was just saying, like, that would make your birthday more intense if you had a shared one.
Right.
Like, I wish one of my friends did, because then we could have pooled both of our minuscule birthday parties into one, like, more fantastic. We could have gone to Chuck E. Cheese
Right.
instead of liver and onions at my house.
Gabe said Mama Fish was ruthless. No fun allowed. That's not true. We just were poor, Gabe.
I learned about the Fishers that if you slam a door in their house, they take the door off the hinges and you don't have privacy anymore.
Yeah, I was a tantrum thrower when I was little. And
Yeah, Gabe says Shelby lost some doors.
I
That's how he
slammed
put
my
it.
door one too many times, and they took my door off its hinges.
This is the Fisher Queen we're talking about. She's got a mean streak. She has a mean. You know what the Fisher Queen told me today? At lunch, chat.
What'd she say?
This wonderful person that you applaud so much. She told me we're not friends anymore. That's what she told me. She said we're not friends anymore.
He's telling you out of
She
context.
said if I want to be back in her good graces, I have to utter some words I would never utter. And so I'm not going to utter them because I would never utter them. Yeah.
For
It has to do with hockey.
context, yeah.
And I'm not saying it because it ain't true.
Long story short, she's an Oilers fan.
She's what?
She's an Oilers fan, and they're against Jason's team. So they've been at odds.
Speaking of
past
phonetic,
couple of
liver and
days.
onions. Did you have to suffer through liver and onions as a child? It's fairly scarring. It's fairly scarring. I left the webbing the standard dark purple, and I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Right?
that
It
looks
gives
good.
it even more of a feeling of like black skin webbing in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kind of reddish color I think works pretty well. You used to tell her you were thirsty for water when we were driving the car, and she would say, "Drink your spit." Well, there you go.
It's true. That is legitimately what she said.
Deadbeat liked liver and onions, and you still do. You're one of those weird ones, man. Do you also eat like chicken gizzards? I feel like you probably like gizzards.
I remember growing up, we would, like, sometimes we would ask our mom what we were having for dinner, and she would just say poison.
Yeah, poison. She probably got the feeling that you didn't like what she was cooking, and you were leading her down that path. So I
Yeah.
might stand with your mom on this one. Because I
No.
remember my sisters doing that to my mom, and I probably did it to my mom,
That one was fair.
you know.
Deserved.
Mom, what's for dinner? And you just came at it knowing it was going to be liver and onions. Or the worst thing was that I love spaghetti. My mom would make spaghetti, but the meat in the sauce would be liver. That was the way she did it.
I don't know if my mom ever snuck liver into our food, but maybe she did.
You're of a different age. You got to remember,
Yeah.
you have to ask your mom if her parents did, because your mom and I share those experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
We learned not to feed our kids liver.
Yeah.
I learned not to have kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's how bad I was.
She snuck cow tongue instead. I do remember that.
Liver and onions was the one meal kids never had to eat in your family, Artemis? Yeah, we had to eat it. My mom, you love gizzards, Mo? The years and years later, I had them. They're like, it's like the Brussels sprout is to the cabbage, the gizzard is to the liver. Liver already has that like weird gamey taste to it that I don't like. Gamey might not be the right word because
But it's off.
but it's off, and it tastes spoiled, which is not what I want from meat. And gizzards are like angry versions of that, where you take like a liver that's this big and you scrunch it into all the taste into a thing that's this big, and it's like woo. And that's what Brussels sprouts are. They're all the taste of a cabbage that's this big and like this. It's horrible. Cow tongue is delicious. Cow tongue can be good. She snuck in cow tongue instead. Cow tongue can be okay. It just sounds gross. Liver and spaghetti should be a crime, Ryan, yes. If my mom were here, she'd defend herself. Yep, lengua tacos. Lengua. I don't know how to pronounce
I don't
it.
think I've ever had
Tongue.
liver, now that I really think about it.
Tongue?
No,
Or
liver.
Liver?
I don't think I've ever had it.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Back
I
in
don't
my
think
day, I
would.
think the thing was that it was kind of like the least expensive meat that she could get to feed. There were 7 of us in the house,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that was kind of the thing. But she also liked it. I mean, that generation liked liver, you know?
I mean, from what I understand about liver, it's pretty good for you. But
I mean, it's good to have one.
Yes.
Maybe that's what you heard. You can't really give your liver up.
I have heard that before.
Tends to cause death.
Yeah.
tends to lack of a liver is one of the biggest causes of not living.
Yeah, it's a bit necessary.
Hence it's called the liver, because if you don't have one, you're the deader.
Okay. Now who's making dad jokes?
Take that, chat. Liver still super cheap. Liver hardly newer. Fido, right up my alley. We are best friends now. Jason is forced to eat liver, swears to never have a child. Yep, basically that's the case. Liver tastes like licking metallic paint because of the iron content. It does have a metallic twang to it. It's like licking a penny, right?
Ugh, that sounds
weird.
terrible.
It's weird. Well, I mean, the liver is where the bulk of like your digestive blood is at any
Right.
given time, right?
No,
So
I
it's
understand
probably...
it. It just doesn't sound appetizing.
Fido's like, oh yeah, BFFs.
I legitimately have heard though that it's good for you to eat liver,
Probably.
which I don't.
Well, it's true that a lot of people don't get enough iron. So
Oh, I definitely.
if it's
don't.
a digestible form of iron, then right off the bat, it's great. It's like,
Yeah.
you win.
I definitely don't.
I
get
just
enough
can't
iron.
stomach it. I know they have like liver pills.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's actually, it must be like maybe dried, powdered, I don't know.
dried, powdered, crushed.
Because
yeah.
I do believe that it is one of the most digestible forms of the minerals that you're getting that way.
I've started eating spinach, which
Spinach is good.
which has iron.
Spinach is one of the only greens that I like.
Hmm.
I don't like, when I say greens, of the leafy greens, I don't like collard greens, mustard greens.
Do you like arugula?
Well, I like arugula uncooked.
Good.
Yeah.
That was the right
In
answer.
salads, right?
Yep.
I don't like it.
That was the
the problem is when
correct
you
answer.
steam or boil or do whatever the hell you do to those greens, like
Cooked
spinach.
cabbages,
It's
or
spinach.
cooked,
like spinach, leaf spinach is in a
get up.
salad is really good, but I also like it cooked.
Ooh. Huh.
What? That was pretty good, chat. That was a good reaction we got out of her that time. Yeah, I like lettuce cooked too, but it's the only one of the greens that I can eat that way.
I don't like spinach cooked. I can't stand it.
It's very bitter, and so it's rough,
And
but
it's-
not as bad as collard greens or
it's
all that stuff.
icky. It's squishy.
Yeah, Liver King was just nuts. So we're not going to talk about that guy. He doesn't get advertising time here. Someone take that Jason mask off and real Telemachus or however the hell you're supposed to. About how long does it take for the basing textures to dry? I generally find that it's okay here in a very dry climate after about an hour, maybe 2, but don't rush it, right? Because you can move it around. It'll cure at the base last. It'll cure at the top and feel cured, but the base will still be wet because obviously it's taking longer to dry the deepest portion of it. So depending on how thick you put it on, give it more time. I will typically base a lot of miniatures and then put them off to the side. So like here on stream, if we're basing a miniature, you'll see me at the beginning of the stream, put the basing material on it and put it off to the side, paint something else, and then the next day come back and paint on that one. But, a couple hours down the road, you should be good to go. Especially if you're going to be dry brushing, something that has a lot of force on it. You just want to give it a few hours. So, spinach right out of the can like Popeye or death. I've never done that, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying.
I am very opposed.
You're
trying
opposed
that.
to trying it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're just not really a thrill seeker.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
So
Not in that way. Yeah, but I've been making a salad with spinach, and I love it. It's great. I've had it 3 times in the past 2 days, so
nice.
it's great. I actually don't like lettuce.
Like iceberg?
Any kind of lettuce, I'm not a fan.
I like romaine.
Yeah, it's too. I think I don't like how, like, watery and crunchy it is. I think it throws
Well, that's
me
iceberg.
off. And it, like, the taste, I'm like, there's no point. I just don't like it. But I like spinach and I like arugula.
Captain Humanity love iceberg so much. I mean, like in a wedge salad, yes. You're not going to stop me. I'm like, yeah. Gimme. I'm a big wedge salad fan.
Fastnat said, are any of the pigments used in Procurl made with minerals? Asking for a friend.
Made with minerals?
Yeah.
Like, for what are you trying to do with them?
Yeah, what's the motive behind this question?
I mean, carbon black.
Awkwardish, I can see that being alright. I hate spinach when it's cooked into like a pasta. If there's spinach in pasta, it just ruins the pasta for me. I will like deliberately, I will pick out the spinach and make sure I don't eat any of it because I just hate it and it sullies it. Spinach in pasta is an abomination.
Wow.
I said it, and I would say it again.
Wow, chat. We have set something off in Shelby.
My hatred for spinach. Cooked spinach. Raw spinach?
Shelby is not trying to have the spinach in the pasta. What pasta has spinach in it? Like maybe a cream sauce thing?
Yeah, like
Primavera?
I've had pastas before that are like a creamy, cheesy, like pasta, and then they just add spinach. And I disagree with it wholeheartedly.
Does Gabe like spinach? I feel like Gabe likes spinach.
It sounds like he does, because he said, well, you're wrong. So
Yeah, I feel like Gabe likes spinach.
you know what, Gabe? I'm sorry, I don't like slimy, icky things.
Gabe's a hipster spinach guy.
You would be.
I'm yellow on
Spatsnat
it.
said, like, iron, zinc, you know, things your body needs. I see. Spatsnat wants to eat the paint.
Things your body needs, like,
Magnesium, you know. Yeah, Gabe doesn't like beans, which is weird.
he doesn't like what?
Beans?
Beans?
Yeah, he doesn't like beans.
Oh, all right. Like any kind of beans?
Yeah, I think he I think he likes refried beans. Like the black beans from Chino Bandito,
I was going to say, black beans from Chino Bandito are pretty
I'm pretty sure
comfortable.
he likes that, but I don't think he doesn't like the full. Oh, he said nope, those are worse. Okay, well now
Oh, wow.
you're just wrong.
Okay.
So I may not like cooked spinach, but at least I don't not like the black beans. Chino Bandino. He likes green beans, which I don't count. They're not beans. Beans.
Green beans are good.
Yes. He actually loves green beans. I'm pretty sure his favorite Thanksgiving dish is green bean casserole, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not what I wanted. Green bean casserole. That's brave.
He said beans is a weird word.
The more you say it,
Beans,
the more you're
beans,
like,
beans.
what does that even mean?
Beans. I feel the same way about the word yank. I don't know why, but I heard it and I was like, that's not a real word, right?
Jank?
No, yank.
Yank.
Like the act of yanking something.
Like yanking my chain?
Yeah, but when you just say yank, it's like, what even is that? Captain Mandarins, I do like broccoli. Broccoli is good. And cauliflower. People have mixed reviews about cauliflower, but I like it.
Not a fan cooked, but uncooked, I could do
Interesting.
cauliflower.
Oh, specifically cauliflower?
Broccoli, I enjoy both ways.
Okay.
Like, like a dip platter that has cauliflower, broccoli as things you dip into
Ranch.
hummus or ranch or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm a fan of that.
I hate raw broccoli and cauliflower, actually.
Gives me gas, but I still like it.
Oh, yeah. That's never a bad thing. It's just clearing out the airways.
Cause clogged airways, I guess. I don't know. What the hell's going on? Need to live my life differently. Need to make some different life choices.
Gabe doesn't like mustard. Okay. Now you're just... I don't even know what to
Okay, I
think
need a
anymore.
creamy brown. And then you think about what you just said. Did you say it out loud? Does your family wonder what the hell you're doing in that room?
I need a creamy brown.
Beans, like bugs, are great sources of protein that have less environmental impact than meat. I have negative interest in both.
Sometimes I do think about, like, how small my food palette is. Like, on a daily basis, what things, like, could I add that would just, like, change my life entirely? Just by, like, I feel like the circle of foods that I eat is so small, and
Yeah.
I need to broaden it.
Yeah. A lot of times that can be geographic.
Yeah.
You don't have access to the same produce or whatever, you
Mhm.
know? I feel like fresh produce is probably the thing that we lack the most, right? Everybody makes fun of America for being brown food,
Right.
you know? Yellow and brown. You eat
Mhm.
corn, potato, meat, bread,
Right.
corn, potato, meat, bread.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like we have all the food groups. We have the brown, the white, and the yellow.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. So good greens are really are good when you have them. Jen, like when Jen cooks, we get, you know, she likes a lot of broccoli, mushrooms, things like that, and I really like all that.
I went through a phase where I was just frying up mushrooms with garlic and thyme and eating the mushrooms. And they were just so good. Just straight mushrooms.
I've had the cricket flour. I think it was pancakes with cricket flour. I couldn't tell the difference. I'm fine with that.
Just,
I don't mind bug flour.
just the
doesn't bother
knowledge.
me.
The knowledge of it.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I would have to do some deep soul searching if they said they're making it out of cockroaches. So word to the bug companies out there, if you decide that cockroaches are easier and they're better or whatever, just keep calling it cricket. Don't ever call it cockroach.
Even if they make it out of cockroach.
Me and cockroaches have a long history of bad. I grew up in Texas. It
Oh.
is like cockroach central, and I've never been happier than living in Colorado and Arizona, because cockroaches are much more rare. Definitely in Colorado, but here even so, they're pretty rare.
They're
See
rare and
one
they're
every now
small.
and then. You
They're
know,
not huge.
yeah, usually not huge down here. You know, so Jiminy brand flour. They better be a Jiminy brand flour. If there's not, we just became millionaires.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be Jiminy brand flour.
You might have to
And
get the
Disney's
rights
not
for
getting a
that.
cent. Get your full line of Soylent Foods coming to you in green, brown, red, gray, and mahogany. Wait, Soylent Green is people. Spoiler alert.
Screwball. The idea of eating bugs is fine in my mind. The thing that I will hate is having to relearn how to use it compared to grain flour. Yeah, that would be a hard learning curve, I'm sure.
Cockroaches can have salmonella. Well, probably if they're out in the wild, but they're not catching wild bugs to make your food. It turns out you can grow bugs
Yeah, they're farming them.
very quickly.
Ugh,
Like, very quick. You thought rabbits multiply fast. Try crickets.
yeah.
You can have your own personal infestation in just a few weeks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't think that they just have salmonella, right? But maybe? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't want to know.
they're roaches.
To Xenophonetics' point, like, if you think you won't like something, try it without knowing what it is. So I don't know that those go together. I would like, when I travel abroad, I used to travel abroad, and I would always tell them, don't tell me what it is until after, right? And that was always my thing. Like, if we're going, because I was always be like, take me where you would go. Like, if you were going to go out with your family or out with your buddies, let's go there. And a lot of times they'd be like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I'd be like, don't tell me anything,
Yeah.
you know? Because the menu doesn't say
Right.
horrible crap
Yeah.
served here, you know? And I'd eat it, and they'd be like, what'd you think of that? I'd be like, it was amazing. And they'd all snicker, and I'd be like, all right, wait till after dinner.
Tell me what it is.
Let me finish. And then you can tell me. And on the ride home or the next day, I'd always get the hammer down on what I had eaten the night before. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's hard. You're like, I'm not going to go ask for that again. right? Because now that I know, it probably
Yeah.
ruined it to some extent. But then again, you're having to weigh it out against that was really good.
Yeah.
You know, that was really good, and I didn't die.
I feel like I experienced that in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Germany doesn't have any food that will scare you.
Well,
Some of their meats, they use more of the
Some of their
animal
meats
in,
are-
in meat.
there was one time we were at a restaurant and there was like all these different like meat balls with like some sort of pasta and sauerkraut, and my dad knew a couple of them because he speaks German, but one of them he's like, I don't know what that is. So we asked the waiter, and he just like the way he didn't know how to translate it in English, so he just like started rubbing his arm and like grabbing at his arm, and we were like, okay, we don't know what that means, but sure. So that was
Grabbing?
probably the only time I ever experienced it, but
Huh.
And some of their sausages, like they have like that pale sausage that's boiled
Yeah.
in water.
Yeah.
That one was
Gray meat, I'm not a fan of.
That one was hard to get through.
Yeah, gray meat, I'm not a fan of. It's a total. Cuthbert Allgood, best name ever. What did Cuthbert say?
You see?
I have a roach farm for my lizards. Yeah. Really? Rather than crickets, you do cockroaches. I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't have them. No. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I don't care about spiders as much. Scorpions freak me out, but only because I don't like getting stung. Kind of in the same way bees do. It's just scorpions are a little creepier
Yeah.
because they're creepy crawlies. I don't have a big problem with many bugs, I don't think. When I see them, I'm like, whatever. If you can get it and throw it outside, great. If you smash it and throw it away, great.
Yeah,
But
as long
Cockroaches,
as it doesn't come near
man.
me.
When I find cockroaches, my whole brain goes to, oh, the world is dirty, burn it and move. That's just what I think. I don't know why. It's because in all the games I play, cockroaches are the bugs they choose to put in dystopian environments because it's supposedly, they'll last through the nuclear
Yeah,
holocaust
like
kind of
the
thing.
giant ones in Fallout.
It turns out they don't last through nuclear holocaust. They can survive a tremendous amount of radiation, but it turns out fireballs burn roaches just like they burn everything else. So. You're eating a 7-course degustation menu. What is degustation? Disgusting? Degustation menu at a fancy restaurant, enjoying your course without knowing what it was. Then the waiter comes over and says that you're eating tongue. I became acutely aware of the texture and no longer enjoyed it. That can be a thing, right? Especially if you're like Jen is very sensitive to texture. Like she'll know real quick if it's something she wants to try or not based on looking at it. If it's as that grainy, mushy, she's not into it.
Yeah.
So, but tongue is good. Tongue is good.
Can't do it.
You never saw a cockroach until you moved to Florida. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. You used to keep your air turned down so low at all times they would come into your front door and get a foot and a half in and die. They don't like the cold. Definitely true. Chinatown in New York City, and that's how you ended up eating pig knuckles.
Not a fan.
Yeah, back in the day, you wasted no part of the animal. And you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. You should use all the parts of the animal.
Ghost Hunter, it wasn't Spätzle. It was like a potato-based pasta or something.
Coming from a Polish-German family, in your experience, North American people do not like our food? Like Polish,
I actually
German
liked it.
food? From Deadbeat, for us, unless they're... Because that's very bland, really, right? That's the problem with German food for me. It's just very bland. Some heavy sauces, they're okay, but it's just kind of bland.
I love sauerkraut, actually. I also love,
Dubia roaches, slightly less yucky? I don't know. I don't pay enough it's just a roach.
I like the dumplings that are made out of, like, stale bread. I forget what they're called, but those are really good.
No mercy for spiders. Poor spiders. I like spiders because they kill the flying things that I hate worse, right? So if I see a spider, like, in a window at our house and there's bugs in the web, I leave them alone.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a spider that I know is like going to get wolf size and deliver 80 million more wolf size spiders in my house. If it's just house spiders and they're just like in a window, I'll leave them because they catch the gnats and the stuff that I don't want in the house anyway.
Yeah.
Flies and stuff like that. But yeah, generally I'm not a fan of having them in the house.
I don't like
Rad roach
crane
flower.
flies. Crane flies are terrible.
The roach farm is simply the mess of his house. That's the way I equate it. I know that's not what he's saying. Degustation is French for tasting. Oh, okay. Where they just serve you small amounts. It's like, here, try this. Here, try this. That's how you know the restaurant was fancy.
Yeah.
Pig's feet and chicken feet. Tough meat. Very gamey. Not a fan. Boots, cats, patamaton. Your first experience with tongue. This is a family channel, Nutrimentia. We do not allow that kind of talk here.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to go right past. Your grandparents slaughtered their own cattle, and your dad brought home a tongue. He cooked it in a 9x12 pan, cut it up, found the bullet from the execution, shot through the skull, yeah.
Oh.
More iron. Actually, that's probably copper and lead.
Yeah, so not good.
Sauerkraut, yeah. Sauerkraut's not my favorite. I grew up with a lot of sauerkraut, and it just was not something I liked. Sauerkraut and like bratwurst and stuff like that. And believe it or not, in Texas has a very, very high German population down around New Braunfels. Central Texas was completely German populated.
Interesting.
Yeah, completely German populated. Like, I think probably the second largest Germanic, population outside of Germany.
Yeah. Dang.
Like, it's huge. And so there was all sorts of like Dutch, German, GAS style cooking. You have a truce with spiders. They live if they stay out of your personal bubble. One experience in Hungary you never got to be part of was a pig slaughter. They would make big family and neighborhood events out of it. Lots of sausage coming out of that. They did that for 4-H in my little area in Colorado. The kids for 4-H, if they kept they would have the slaughter of the animal once it got to size. Pigs, goats, lamb. I guess that was it, right?
With the calves?
No, because calves, you'd have to get too big for 4-H. Maybe they did, but I think the kids just did pig. And because every time they bring the animals at the beginning of the school year for 4-H, I'd go over there and wrestle them out of the trailer with them, hearing pigs scream and stuff. It's crazy. But then they grow up and they had names, and then you'd go to, we had BLT Day, and you go to BLT Day after the slaughter of the pig, and you'd have, there just was more bacon than you could imagine, because pigs produce a lot of meat. It really puts a reality to it that people who just shop at the grocery store don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'd slaughter that, and it was a big neighborhood event, and then they'd have the BLT cookout and huge pile of bacon and 18 million loaves of bread.
That sounds fun, honestly.
4-H, yeah. Because you'd go show your animal as you grew it, and then you'd have the competition at the end. You'd take them to the show, the livestock show, and you'd show them, and a lot of them would win ribbons and medals and all of that stuff for how they raised, showing that they knew how to raise an animal proper.
Right.
And then you'd either sell it if it was a show winner, and you could sell it if it was a breeder or something like that. They'd sell it at the show or keep it for their own farm, or you'd slaughter it for food.
Yeah. I like it.
Xenophonik, now that your mom has passed, you'll never have good sauerkraut again. Oh no! Does anybody have the recipe? There's the key. The recipe must survive. Again, we've made it to the end of our day.
Looks good.
We got a skull done, or at least good start to the skull. I'm happy with how that's going. Did some brain bits in there.
Is the paint still wet on the
No.
familiar?
No, it's just that these are the ones that haven't gone through the addition of the matte yet.
Gotcha.
So a lot of them are still very satin. So you'll see more sheen to them. They won't be this way at commercial release.
I see. Cool.
So thanks so much for hanging. Remember, the big announcement. Tomorrow is my birthday, and I'm losing my mind. We're running the first sale we've ever run on the website ever. Like, that's insane to think about, but we don't do sales. So it's not a sale on Monument stuff. It's a sale on the Mindworks and Journeyman miniatures. They are 40% off starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So if you have wanted any of the awesome Mindworks miniatures, everything from like Morgana Le Fay, you've seen us paint a bunch of them, any of the really cool stuff that you've seen us working through, or the ones that have been on your wish list for a long time, all of those models, right? Everything Journeyman, everything Mindworks, 40% off. That's huge, huge. So I'm going to run it at least through the weekend to give everybody a little bit of time, but I don't guarantee it'll go much longer than that. I'll decide as we see how things go.
Yes, it'll be 9 a.m. our time.
9 a.m. our time. Yeah, which right now is Pacific, Wad. 9 a.m. Arizona time. MST. Yep. Mountain Standard.
Represent.
So, Jade, 9 a.m. MST, which is Pacific right now. So do that. 40%. You won't have to have a code or anything. It's already baked in. When you go to the miniature page, it should just show up as being the discount. It'll go live at 9 a.m. It may take a little bit of time to propagate. I tested it today, and it took a couple minutes for all of the miniatures to show up with a discounted price. So if you're pounding the 9 a.m. refresh button and you don't see it immediately, give it a few minutes. And even if you go ahead and add the model into your cart, it'll still get the discount applied in your cart. So if you want to make sure that you've got it in the cart ready to go. But it will go on. It will happen. I mean, it was amazing. Like, I mean, do the math, right? Your $100 models are now $60.
And
So-
we will be streaming tomorrow, same time.
Yeah, we'll be streaming all week as normal.
OMG Mike, there's no code for the sale. It's built in. You do not miss anything.
No code. We made it easy. It's open to everybody. Don't have to log in. All the miniatures 40% off.
Woohoo!
There'll be a big post in the morning, or maybe a big post this afternoon. We'll probably post it first thing in the morning. That way it'll give you guys a heads up, because everybody else will have to wait to see the post. So we'll let Discord know. Obviously, you guys and gals know. Jump on it. Some of the other streamers have talked about doing links in theirs. If Zambies is in here, I don't know if she streams tomorrow, but she could do something like that. So enjoy. Happy birthday to you guys out there. Am I going to dress up for my birthday? No birthday suit? Wait a minute. Twitch terms and conditions allow me. Yeah, no, Jen can't stop me. I figured it was easier to not have a code. So nothing like, man, that seal suit is hot, dude. It's hot. It's got like a big blubber middle pad that's like that fake goose down, like foam stuff. You put it on, instantly sweating. And especially now that it's like nearly 100 degrees. No.
Yeah.
No.
Not
No,
something you
I
can
might
wear for 2
shave. I
hours.
might shave and do my hair up, but no. I am not planning on dressing up. It's hot here. Make a code that does nothing. Jen can't stop me. Awesome. But we'll see you back here. So thanks so much for hanging with us. Stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid. Shelby threw up all the links in chat. Make sure you follow them over to the store. Get yourself a favorites link to the miniatures page. So when the sale goes live tomorrow, you can jump on it. Get some. When they're out of stock, they're gone for good. A lot of those, I mean, realize a lot of these are the last in the world available from the Mineworks stuff on the limited edition. So there might be a handful of stuff. I know Night Bells is gone.
Is it?
Out of stock, yeah. So, but there's a couple of models in there that these are like the last 10 or 15 of that whole production run of like 500. So after that, you won't be able to get them anymore.
I might have
We
to
have, we still have
really
like, I think the
about
original Puppeteer.
Mhm.
We have a couple Oz
Yeah.
in there. That's not
We
available
have
anymore.
one of the ones I've been eyeing for a while is the Azazel model.
Zazel is
That one's
amazing.
really cool.
Yeah. There's a ton of really, really good stuff.
Mhm.
So enjoy, have fun, and we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Stick around for the raid, show some love in the chat we wind up in. Adios, have a great night.
Bye.